What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Go Battle League video, and welcome to Season 26 of the Go Battle League. Now, recently, I have not been battling a lot inside of Go Battle League, so honestly, I didn't get a lot of footage. Now, originally, I wanted to do a Gallade video for this channel for the first ever video for Season 26, but then a Community Day Pokemon came up, so I decided to run him instead, and man, these battles were pretty electric. Honestly, some of these battles were pretty intense, and honestly, I got some pretty nice clutch wins with this Community Day Pokemon. Now, what is that Community Day Pokemon, you might ask? Well, it is none other than Cinderace. Cinderace recently got two new moves added into its move pool with Pyro Ball and Blast Burn, so let's see how it will perform inside of the Great League in some practice battles. Hopping into the first match, leading Cinderace into Wigglytuff. This is a really good lead for the Cinderace because at least it's going to be able to resist Charm. But even so, the Charms are definitely doing quite a bit of damage. Now, before we continue the commentary, you might have noticed that on the left side that we only have Cinderace's stats and moves. And why is that? Is because mainly because these are practice battles, and since I actually have no friends, I had to keep switching teams, meaning I have many different teams in store for us today, which is not just going to include a couple Mud Boys, also include Wigglytuff, Azu, and a lot more Pokemon, like the Primeape inside my safe switch slot. So anyways, back into the commentary, we see Cinderace firing off the Power Ball onto that Annihilate right there. We're going to get a shield, because Pyro Ball actually does 5 more damage than Drill Peck, so essentially it's a stronger version of Drill Peck, but the reason for that is mainly because Cinderace just does not have a good fast move to get to that Pyro Ball fast enough to deal enough damage. We're gonna come in with the Rage Fist Primeape here. It's our Shadow Primeape as well. It's going to be able to outpace the Empoleon by a lot. Using Rage Fist, going to take down that Empoleon. Empoleon literally could not tank those Karate Chops, even though Karate Chop is like currently, I don't know, is it really the weakest fighting move? I have no idea. But either way, we win game 1 there. We're going to go into game number 2. We lead into a terrible lead. Fearow into Scizor. Now, normally I could just send in Cinderace, but I sent it at a really horrible time because I catch it onto a Night Slash Dive, force to shield. The opponent has that Marowak there. Marowak is going to be able to fire off the Bone Club, but not before we get to the Power Ball. Somehow Cinderace does have at least one saving grace for it, and it's the fact that it can win most CMPs. Bone Club going to knock it out. We're going to come back in with the Fearow to get some farm with the Pex, because since it's a flying type, we're not going to take any damage from the Mud Slaps. We're going to be able to reach that one Drill Peck here. Drill Peck will knock out or grab a shield, and it does seem to have grabbed the shield. The opponent going to fire back with the Rock Slide. They seem pretty invested inside this Marowak, but we're going to be able to farm a lot of energy, and in comes a Guzzlord. Guzzlord, fortunately, it will get 2-shot here by Drill Peck because Fearow is just super attack weighted in general, and Guzzlord does not even have the chance to fire off its Brutal Swing. We're going to be able to take it down with the Fearow. And remember, they still have that Scizor in the back, but they will not be able to outpace the Quagsire, because Quagsire now having its new pacing, well, I guess not really new pacing, its old pacing back again from 6 seasons ago, with Muchut being super quick now. That means Aqua Tail is very spammy here. Aqua Tail going to take out the Scizor and the Marowak too, and that is a good game. We're going to pause commentary here again as we see the Cinderace lead into the Jellicent. So anyways, guys, you probably might have noticed by now that this is the trainer that we fought twice already, and we're already going for another round, which is pretty interesting. Well, this is once again where I had to say that I actually just do not have any friends that are like, well, at least good at PvP. So only in this video, we're only featuring 2 trainers that I managed to battle against with the Cinderace inside the practice matches. But yeah, no, it was really hard to find good trainers out there. Even when I went onto the Discord server called Go Stadium, I couldn't find a lot of people other than one person who I eventually managed to befriend and get a lot of battles with. Either way, we're going to go back to the video. We see a horrendous core breaker with the Jellicent, because Jellicent has energy against the entire team, and its typing is pretty much just dominant in this matchup, because Cinderace can't take down the Jellicent, so can't the Swampert, and so can't the the Titan. Either way, it's the Titan able to somehow farm down that Jellicent, but it's taking a lot of damage from the Surf. It's going to go for the superpower, but the opponent shields up that superpower. The opponent actually goes for a move, and if this is a Trailblaze, we might actually have a shot here. They go for a Trailblaze, but oh my goodness, that those Sucker Punches are boosted and doing a lot of damage to the Shadow Swampert. And what's worse is that the Shadow Swampert is an attack-based Swampert, meaning it has high attack IVs but low defense IVs, meaning it's going to take a lot more damage in general. The opponent comes in with the Wigglytuff, and I know this game is over because Wigglytuff is just going to be able to farm us down. Even though that Sludge does a lot of damage, it does not knock out, and that is a good game. Into game number 4, we see Annihilate up into the Corvid Knight here. Corvid Knight is going to Safe Switch into the Shadow Sableye, but we're going to respond with the Licky Licky. Licky Licky is very, very strong against Sableye because it can take at least one charge move, and it's in general, it's pretty bulky. So either way, we're going to see it here. Licky Licky is going to take that foul play decently well. We're going to go for the body slam here because we really want to see if the opponent wants to invest into the Sableye. The opponent does indeed want to invest into that Sableye. They're probably going to fire off the Power Gem just to secure the knockout here. Yep, they do. The opponent going to now get farmed down by the Cinderace. They do not fire off any Shadow Claws, and here's where I felt really bad for my friend, which is essentially my opponent right here. And honestly, I just decided to let him fire off the Mud Bomb here because that's how good sportsmanship here works. Mud Bomb almost knocks out Cinderace. And here's where I tell you guys that Cinderace's bulk is just absolute trash, which is why it really needs a good fast move to be able to compete with the meta. But honestly, I don't think Niantic is ever going to do that. But if they ever did, they definitely should give it Ember, Double Kick, or Low Kick. Those are some of my great top ideas for Cinderace's fast move pool. Currently, it runs on only Tackle and Fire Spin. And yeah, I had to run Fire Spin because that's like the most amount of energy that it can generate. But anyway, we're going to get back to the battle. The opponent has a a Corvid Knight here. Corvid Knight has 0 shields left. It takes the boosted Ice Punch. We switch it into the Cinderace. Cinderace is able to catch that Air Cutter. Air Cutter is going to knock the Cinderace out. We're able to take back the KO with the Annihilate with the 2 shield flex, and that is a good game. Hopping into the final match with this first friend here, we're going to lead the Cinderace into a shiny Galarian Moltres. That is a very cool Galarian Moltres right there, but we're getting shredded by the Sucker Punches at the same time. But man, look at that Pyro Ball damage. That almost knocked out this bulky Galarian Moltres. They're going to fire off the Brave Bird. Surprisingly, firing off Brave Bird. I honestly didn't know why they did that. They could have probably lived another Fire Spin, or probably not. But either way, they're going to sacrifice that Galarian Moltres. I'm going to send in the Clodsire. Clodsire is going to take a Blast Burn. Blast Burn is going to get shielded. We don't actually get to another move, but the opponent actually fires off their Stone Edge. Stone Edge is going to knock them out. We're going to come in with the Furret here, because Furret is going to be able to put in some decent pressure. Furret is going to have to no-shield this move, but at Earthquake does half of its HP bar, and that might be trouble, because Azumarill cannot see Clodsire, honestly, because especially if it has Sludge Bomb. It doesn't, but yeah, no, we can't have it, because taking too much damage on the Azumarill can be a pretty risky investment onto the Furret. The opponent is going to shield up that Swift, which is really surprising. I'm going to actually shield up and invest into Furret. The opponent has a Gourgeist, and I think I might have just won the game. Because, you see, Azumarill is super tanky, and it's going to be able to take at least 2 C-bombs here from the Gourgeist. And Gourgeist, this is a big Gourgeist too. I think it's slightly more attack-weighted too. But either way, we're going to see a second C-bomb onto the Azumarill. Azumarill tanks that like it's nothing. We're going to fire off the Ice Beam here. I think Ice Beam probably will not KO, but it will come very close. Yes, it does. We're able to knock it out with the bubble. Back in comes that Clodsire. Clodsire is going to not be able to reach another move before we reach our Ice Beam. Ice Beam is going to knock out the opponent, and that is a good game. Now, before we continue with the commentary for the next battle, I just want to say thank you guys for 50 subscribers, as I said in the last video, because honestly, that is a pretty meaningful achievement for me. But anyways, we're going to reach into the next battle where we see the Drapion into Tyranitar. Now, before we continue commentating this battle, I also want to say that next video will definitely be the Glade, but I don't know if I can get it into it within a week's frame. Hopefully I can, but either way, you guys, we're gonna go back into the video and we'll talk about all this stuff later. Oh yeah, and before we continue, do subscribe to the channel. It really helps out the algorithm. And yeah, honestly, I do kind of need subscribers because I actually have no friends and I'm pretty poor. So please, guys, subscribe. Anyways, we're gonna see the Cinderace fighting off this Shadow Cordelia here. We're against the second opponent that I fought. Now, Pyro Ball is going to knock them out. The back end comes that Tyranitar. Tyranitar is running Smackdown instead of the usual Dragon Breath, but either way, Pyro Ball is going to do a decent amount of damage, but it does not knock out. And I think this game might already be over. They have a victory belt in the back of all things, and I think this game, yeah, no, Jellicent is going to get shredded by the Razor Release, which is really sad. Yeah, we also do not have any shields either, so they're going to be able to reach their Leaf Blade and knock us out. Yeah, this match did not go really well for me in general. In fact, against this opponent was actually slightly stronger. And yeah, he tried his best and yeah, knocked me out in most of the matches. But either way, we're gonna see the next match against him. We're gonna see the Dragon Knight, Shadow Dragon Knight, of course, going up against the Dragonair, Shadow Dragonair, of course. Thunder Punch is gonna grab the shield. I'm gonna have to shield back to the Spy Slam, which is to be doing like way too much damage. Body Slam, gonna get shielded. We're gonna send in the Dunsparce. Dunsparce is gonna be able to take a couple hits here from the Dragon Breath and the Aqua Tails. The opponent going to fire off the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail does a decent amount of damage, but we're going to fire off 2 rollouts and then go for the Rock Slide. Because if I went for 3 rollouts, then they would have reached another move and CMP tied me. The opponent going to go into the Annihilate here. Annihilate is going to be able to farm me all the way down, but oh no, actually the opponent does not farm me down. They honestly probably had a chance because even though Loki does no damage, it's probably still would have knocked out. They come in with the Steelix. That it might not be a great move for the opponent here because Powerball will do a lot of damage to the opponent. Powerball one-shots the Steelix, and that is the power of a fire-type Dropek right there. Guys, we might actually have a chance this game with Cinderace. Cinderace is going to go into hell, but we're gonna be able to get in with the Dragonite and take that knockout. Hopping into the ninth match here, we're gonna see the fur up against the. Oh my god, that is a Shadow Zapdos. Shadow Zapdos did get buffed this season, but I don't think my opponent is actually going to be running the new Heat Wave. But either way, we're going to see the shield because Dropek would have done a lot of damage. But either way, we're going to see Furret. Furret is going to fire off the Swift. Swifts against that Shadow Muck is going to do some decent amount of damage, but Muck is surprisingly tanky in this meta. Swift number 2 does not get a shield, but the opponent is already relatively low. And that's actually pretty good because our jump fluff in the safe switch slot is going to get destroyed by this thing, especially since it's running Poison Jab and not the usual Snarl. And yeah, I can understand that verdict because if you were running Snarl, then you wouldn't have any fast move pressure, and that would be really bad for Shadows because Shadows really need fast move pressures to be able to work. The opponent going to fire off a Poison Fang onto the jump fluff. I'm going to fire back with the Energy Ball here. Energy Ball is going to grab the shield from the opponent. They're going to fire back with the Drill Peck here. Drill Peck will easily knock out. Of course, Drill Peck takes down the Jump Fluff. We're going to come back in with the Cinderace. And the reason why I saved this last shield is simply because we need to farm down the Zapdos and somehow, by some way, get rid of the Nidoqueen with just Pyro Ball. Now, unfortunately, Pyro Ball will get shielded in the first place, but what's really, really unfortunate is that Pyro Ball will not KO here. It's strong. It's a strong move. It really is. But it does not knock out the Nidoqueen because Nidoqueen actually has bulk in this meta. And that is unfortunately a game loss. Hopping into oh wait, no, this is the real 9th match. My bad guys. That last one was the 8th match. Either way, we're gonna see the Murkrow get countered by the safe switch with the Dunsparce. We're gonna send in the Alola Ninetales here, and honestly, Dunsparce has energy against my entire team, which is really bad because I was low key not thinking about team competition here, but well, not competition, composition. But either way, we're gonna knock out that sparse with the weather ball. But unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to reach another move before they reach their lunge. And honestly, I don't know why they ran lunge because they could have gotten to a trailblaze. But then it dawns on me they fired off four poison stings right there. And that means I have to shield because that is a cross poison. That is definitely not a trailblaze right there. But either way, we're gonna be able to take down the opponent. Oh wait, no, he actually did not take down that Ariados, which is really bad. They're gonna come in with the Morpeko. Morpeko is going to fire out those Psychic Fangs. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be really bad for me. The opponent is gonna continue to farm. Now, to be fair, Murkrow does not have any bulk, but it definitely can win CMP against Morpeko. Morpeko is going to have to shield that Drill Peck. And honestly, I thought this was the Oral Wheel here, but here's where the shield goes to waste. Because if I had not shielded that, I could have actually saved the shield for the Cinderace to block up the Psychic Fang. But the opponent comes in with the... Oh my goodness, they made the mistake sending it into the Ariados. And Pyro Ball is reached, and it's going to be able to kill Morpeko. Oh my god, what a clutch game right there. Guys, sometimes the opponents make mistakes, but honestly, that was a good game right there. They could have won, but they might have gotten a little cocky with the Ariados. Oh my goodness, guys, it is the final match of the video, and man, my voice is absolutely cracking, as you can probably tell, because oh my goodness, my throat feels very dry. Definitely took a sip of water just now, but even so, man, that felt bad. But either way, we're gonna go back into the game. Cinderace is getting hard countered by a Lantern, and so is the entire team practically, because Corvid Knight takes damage from, you know what, Thunderbolt. So we're gonna actually have to double shield. This is one of the rare scenarios where you double shield, even though you probably shouldn't, because they're probably going to bait you. But either way, we're gonna be able to grab one shield from the Lantern. We're gonna have to fire out the Air Cutter against this Lapras. Lapras does not shield up, but we do get the attack boost, and that could actually be meaningful. The Corvid Knight is going to have a bit of health left over from the Sparkling Aria. The Sparkling Aria does do a lot of damage in this current meta. We're going to see Payback. Payback does a lot of damage here as well. We're going to farm up to 9 Air Cutters. Oh, actually 8. And then we're going to send in this Cinderace to catch the Sparkling Aria. That was a good sacrifice there. We're going to send in the Feraligatr. Feraligatr, unfortunately, going to get hard countered by a Moongus. And honestly, my only win con was to fire off this Ice Beam, because if I didn't, then the Feraligatr would have gotten knocked out. And unfortunately, they know what it is. They're going to shield it up. And honestly, this game is probably over. My Corvid Knight is simply just too low to fire off 2 Air Cutters in time. Yeah, they probably even have enough energy to fire off a second power play. Yeah, Air Cutter does not knock out here because the Moongus actually has bulk, unlike some other Shadow Pokemon. And yeah, either way, we're going to lose that match. And unfortunately, that is the final game lost. All in all, Cinderace is... I'm going to start saying some good things about it. It's a very cool Pokemon in general. I liked its design, especially in Gen 8. It was a very powerful Pokemon in the VGC for Gen 8. Well, it probably wasn't too meta, but because, you know, Zacian. But either way, it was still a very cool Pokemon in general. Even in Pokemon Go, it's still a very fun Pokemon to be playing with if you're really bored and want the challenge. Now, honestly, Pyro Ball and Blast Burn are 2 very great moves for this thing, even though it's running Mono Fire moves all the way. But what's really bad is that it gets Fire Spin and definitely not Ember. And before the update where they added Score Bunny into the game, and I guess the Gen 8 trio of starters, they actually originally had Ember before it got Fire Spin. And honestly, we need that Ember. We really badly need Ember, because honestly, Ember has super good pacing now, and pairing it up with Pyro Ball that does more damage than Drill Peck but still causes the exact same amount of energy to get to would be absolutely great. So yeah, I see some pretty good hope for the future. But you know what else I see hope for? Our channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today, and I will see you guys next time. Please do click that subscribe button if you want to see more, because we are going to go into another banger video very soon. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you next time.